Welcome to Artist Talk. My name is Susan Schaefer. I'm the publisher and editor of Island Arts magazine. Today I'm talking to Mark Heine. I've been following him on social media for a number of years. Mark is our featured artist for the March 2024 edition, issue number 68. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, and thanks for the honor of inviting me to be featured on the March edition. I'm excited to be here.
You're very welcome, and it's our pleasure. Mark, you grew up in an environment surrounded by art. As some folks might know, your father was Harry Heine, a man of outstanding achievement in the art world. I wonder if there was any time in your life you thought you might take another direction besides art, or were you always an artist?
Well, we both myself and my two sisters, we were both we're all three of us are painters now, and so I guess my dad had a pretty heavy influence on all of us. But yeah, we grew up in an environment where going to Europe and traveling through the galleries there. Uh, going down to California and looking in the commercial galleries and looking for space for my dad's work and stuff like that. So we were always kind of even during holidays involved in something to do with the art community and the arts, and so there was very little time for us to do otherwise. But when I was young, actually, I got a job working at a marina that a friend of ours had purchased. And it was out in Brentwood Bay, just outside of Victoria. So I got a job there working on the docks and started fishing and eventually became a junior sort of fishing guide when I was 16, 17. And so there was a time when I was contemplating maybe going into fishing for a career, but ultimately I won a scholarship to art school in grade 12, and as I was not being offered other scholarships, I thought let's give it a try and see what it's like, and so it's pretty much been full-time art in some form from the beginning.
Mark, your series Sirens consists of 100 large-scale paintings, plus you're writing stories that feed off of your paintings and vice versa. You've been working on this massive undertaking for the past 10 years. How do you stay focused on a project of such magnitude?
Well, it's interesting because when I started this endeavor, I had no idea how long it was going to take, and we had a bunch of other things tied into this. We sailed across the Pacific Ocean, and that's where actually the manuscript, the outline for the manuscript was actually written offshore on this sailboat trip that we did. So it even goes back beyond 10 years, back to the planning of that, and so. I think what's kept me on track all this time is just the fact that I find the whole process really interesting. I'm constantly changing my mind about the storyline. So Sirens is a group of paintings, and the paintings, they all are visualizations of key moments in the manuscript. And as the manuscript keeps changing, I keep getting new material for the paintings, and so the writing feeds the painting side of things, where I'm sitting down and writing, and as I'm writing, I'm trying to visualize what I'm writing, and because I'm visualizing this, I'm kind of visualizing a painting that would go along with it. And so after I finish that writing, I go and do the painting, and while I'm painting, I'm thinking about the writing. So it was never meant to be a 10-year project, but and it's still going. But that's just what's what's kept me going is just the really a fun part of that discovery, and the creativity is all really interesting.
Do you have an end date in sight for your Siren series?
Definitely. I when I came to the 100 painting point in this series, and there's most of those paintings are quite large too, so it's been quite a quite a big process of getting to 100 paintings. But I wasn't going specifically for that target, but uh, it's a nice round number, and I've hit that 100 painting kind of mark, and the manuscript is now for the sixth time in the hands of my wife, who is my editor, and she's a professional editor for years and years. So I'm very lucky to have access to her on a pretty open basis. So uh, yeah, it's been a long project, but I think it's time. We're both recognizing that it's time to kind of tie it all together, and all the parts are there now, and it's just a matter of putting the final parts together and getting it out there.
Mark, you have recently hit an out of this world achievement, as several of your designs were launched into outer space on a time capsule. So that's pretty exciting. Congratulations. Can you comment on that for us?
I can. It's kind of a funny way this thing evolved. I used to have an agent down in the U.S. And she would put together these shows, and each one of these shows came with a catalog. So if you were accepted into one of these shows, it might be in a museum somewhere or something, and the shows usually had some kind of theme. So I entered a number of these shows, and I got into the shows, and because I'm in the show, I'm in the publications that are included in the show. And so when they started putting together what's called a Lunar Codex, which is a collection of artists and authors and musicians and things from around the world, uh, they went to this publisher because these magazines were full of paintings and artists commenting on the paintings, what the content of the paintings was about through their eyes, the eyes of the creator, and so that seemed to make sense to collect not just the visuals but the comments that the artists are making about their own work. And so because I was involved in that, I got swept into this Lunar Codex, and now, actually, oddly enough, there I have 23 Sirens paintings as part of the Lunar Codex. And the Lunar Codex now is expanded, and it's going to be on 6 different lunar landers over the next few years. The first one went off recently, the Polaris mission, and on February 14th, which is just a week away, the Nova lander takes off on SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, and that has Lunar Codex on it as well. So all told, I'll have 6. I'll be on 6 lunar time capsules spread around the moon when it all ultimately. That's assuming they all make it. So it's really quite a coincidental thing, but it is fun to know that because the moon has no atmosphere, that these time capsules are going to be basically sitting there for all time. They won't be buried by lunar dust or anything like that. So it's an interesting thought that they'll be there a long time before or after I'm around. So kind of fun.
That is pretty cool. And then who knows where who's going to open those time capsules and say, "Hey,
Who it'll be exactly?
yeah." Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say in closing?
No, I just want to say stay tuned for the Sirens book and art series. The idea with doing an art series and a book at the same time is to be able to launch the book in an art show at a gallery, or to be able to launch the book in a bookstore and have an art show attached to that. So try to take these 2 genres and put them together, and hopefully the storytelling and the artwork will come together to be greater than the sum of its parts, which is just a separate book or the art show. So hopefully the paintings and the story will ring a note with people when they're released, and I'm looking forward to hearing feedback from people. But I've certainly enjoyed the process, the creative process. If nobody reads the book, I don't really care. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I had a lot of fun with the paintings too. So
Yeah.
And
Oh,
once again, thank you for inviting me on board the show and to the
oh, you're
magazine. It's
very,
been a lot.
very welcome. We look forward to coming to your Sirens opening.
Sounds great.
Put us on the invitation list, Mark.
You bet you're on there. Yeah.
Okay. Take care.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and give us a big thumbs up.